What's up, New York? How y'all doing? I'd like to welcome y'all to my debut special called It's All Good. The reason why I put this together, because I brought a good friend of mine. Y'all probably seen him before. He opened up for Run DMC back in the days at Wingate Park. He went from the pen game. He went from the rap game to the pen game. Y'all give it up for my friend, my homeboy, Willie O. Vaughn, a.k.a. O. What's up, O?
What's up, baby?
How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? Everything.
What's going on, man?
Just here, my first novel.
Yeah, I noticed that, man. I like the way you approached me that day I was coming out of the building. You rolled up on me. You was like, T, I just finished the book. I was like, Little John. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, for real. I was like, what? I said, yo. Then I told you, I said that, you got a free copy for me?
Yeah.
And you said, yeah. I said, okay, it's all good. Let me tell you, I read the book. I loved it. The book is great, man. I mean, what made you sit down and collaborate on this book?
Well, I always just wanted to get into the game, the whole entertainment field and everything.
Right.
Started out with school, doing the pen thing with, the film game.
Right.
So I went to college for that. Then I always wanted to be a rapper. You know?
I know that.
So I laid it down in the pen.
a couple of your shows.
Yeah, so I laid it down with the pen, on the rhyme tip, and then I said to myself, it's time to step it up to another notch and get into the book thing.
Right. Yo, the book is good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when you first gave it to me, I thought it was just gonna be like a regular, typical on the corner type of book, or another Beacon production kind of book.
Yeah.
But when I took it home and started reading it, I said, yo, this book is good.
Yeah.
It's real good.
No
Excuse
question.
me, ladies and gentlemen. It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no question.
I like to also give a big shout out to Miz, who also helped you on this book.
Yeah, that's right.
What's going on with Miz, man? How's Miz doing?
He's good. He's good. Right now, he's not, available for any interviews and everything. He's more like the behind the scene type of dude. He's on the grind and stuff like that. So,
right.
He'll be around. But right now, I'm holding it down as the poster boy for the Pen Cushion Publishers. That's the name of our publishing company that we started. We have like about 5 books that's ready to come out, with a couple of other publication companies that have books ready as well.
Right.
So we're about to,
So you've been doing your thing for a while then, huh?
Yeah. I mean, basically, I've been working on this book right here for about 3 years. And I would not let this one come out until part 2 was done, and as well as the other books.
Right.
So because I didn't want to tease people, and everybody asked me, yo, what's up with the next one and the next one, So I said, I'm going to just go ahead and just hit them all at one time.
Right. So the characters of this book, how did you pick your characters?
I mean, well, let me start off by talking about Bishop himself. Bishop is a young boy who was born named as Richard Timothy Brown, Jr.
Right.
He's the son of a pastor and a school teacher. His mother was a school teacher. She lost her job. They lived in Bed-Stuy. When she lost her job, they had to move to the Fort Greene Projects in Brooklyn.
Right.
Now, why I did it out of Fort Greene Projects is because I'm an author coming out of Brooklyn. And many people hear about Brooklyn all over the world, but I rep it. And this is why my first interview is on BCAT.
I hear you.
And my first interview is with you, T, who's from the hood that I grew up with, in Flatbush.
Good.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's right.
So basically, why I did Fort Greene was to show people that I'm going to bring it to you straight over the Brooklyn Bridge. First projects across the Brooklyn Bridge is Fort Greene.
Right.
So this is why I bought it to Fort Greene, the whole set in the Fort Greene. Now, Richard, he grew up in church.
Right.
Going to church Saturdays, Sundays, Tuesdays, choir rehearsal Wednesdays. He was there. And he went to Sarah J. Hill High School, which is in Brooklyn, And basically, he always wore suits, ties, and he always wanted to be a fly kid with the nice car, the sneakers, the gears, right, and everything like that. So basically, he met a guy by the name of Ken Do. And the kid Ken Do was a fly dude.
Right.
Now, while everybody else laughed at Richard, Ken Do took him and accepted him for who he was.
Right.
in the process of meeting Kendu introduced him to another friend called Aunt Live.
Right.
So they became inseparable, the three of them just hanging out, doing their thing.
Yeah, because I noticed about them guys, they even though they was hustlers, you know, they still accepted Richard for the way he is, you know. They still showed him love, which was a good thing. You know?
That's what made their bond so tight, because Richard knew they wasn't fake. He didn't have nothing for them to use him for.
Right.
So by him trying to convince them, yo, go to church, stop cursing, man. Why you always got to lose that language? Yo, I'm telling you, give all your problems to God. They used to tell him, listen, go ahead, Bishop, you know. So Kendu was like, go ahead, Bishop. That's what I'm going to call you from now on, Bishop, because you always preaching to me. Now, he met a young girl by the name of Lisa. Now, Lisa was a young girl from the projects, which it's a lot of young girls from the projects.
Right.
You know, and she went. Of course, the only thing that's around her is drug dealers, hustlers, you know, up-and-coming rappers and stuff like that. So she was in love with a young drug dealer that came up in the projects, and now he's an old gangster.
Okay.
You know, so now she was with him, but she didn't want that lifestyle no more because he was sleeping with a lot of girls in the projects. She was just using them for his money.
Right.
But now Richard came along, and she seen, like, pure, nothing wrong with him, no griminess, no shiciness to him, and she fell in love with him.
Okay.
And they got together. But the guy Shamik, who was the notorious drug dealer of the P's, he got jealous. And now he rolled with a bunch of soldiers that get busy. And on the snap of his finger, they'll do whatever, kill you.
Right.
You know?
You know what else I noticed? I noticed that you have a chess piece in the replace of the I in Bishop. To me, life is like a game of chess. It's either checkmate or cellmate. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
So you have obstacles that be thrown in your way. You got to overcome them.
Yeah. Well, basically, the Bishop was his name, and the ill thing about his name being Bishop, it came from church, and it came from another side that you'll see in him. You know, once you read the story and everything like that, and the chess piece, the Bishop piece that's in chess, you have to move strategically in the streets. So that's what Bishop is doing, because he know the killer's a sin. But how will he protect his family now when they killed his best friend Kendu?
Right.
And now they want to come after him.
Right.
You know? So he's just moving strategically in the streets. You know?
Yeah, I noticed that his character very, very intelligent, you know, and he was just put into a situation and he adapted to it very well. And I noticed he did not curse at all throughout this whole book. Could you explain that for me?
Well, the significance of that is Bishop grew up in church. He grew up with his mother, his father. He came from a church background. He's a leader. You know, they said they found Jesus amongst the sinners.
Okay.
You know, he's in the hood, in the ghetto where killing, drug dealing is going on, fornication is happening, you know, adultery, all of these things. And he got down with some kids that accepted him for who he was. So he didn't have to change. He didn't have to start cursing.
Right.
You know, wearing his pants down to his ankles, you know, smoking weed, drinking now. That never was him. Right. So he always stayed the leader throughout this whole book. And my biggest debate with like church people, you know, they say to me, oh, well, why does it have a gun on the cover? I don't want it. It's violence. But if you look, I mean, inside church, once you close them doors, you praise God, give him for all the thanks and everything like that. But when you open them doors, you know, you're out in the world again. And this is what's going on out here in the world. So I didn't want to cover nothing. You know, I wanted to bring it all out to the opening, that you got guns out here, you got drugs out here, but you also got Bibles. You got God as well.